My boyfriend is being blackmailed for sending explicit photos to a girl behind my back. I have been with my boyfriend for 5.5 years. He is my best friend, his family is my family, they took me in when my own parents abandoned me, we have 2 dogs and a cat together, we have built an entire life together. He sent explicit pics to a girl on Instagram who reached out to him, he said it was about a 30-minute conversation. As soon as he sent the pics she demanded $900 or she would post them everywhere. What's worse is she was 16. My boyfriend was then forced to tell me what he did. I laughed in his face as soon as he told me. I told him that's what he gets for being a disgusting a-hole. I told him we are done and he needs to figure out where to go. I screamed at him while he was packing his stuff. I have never yelled like that in my life. This is something I never thought he would do, this is so unlike him. I forced him to call his mom and tell her everything, he was mortified as he should be. She was in complete shock, she told him he needed to leave the house. He packs up his stuff and takes one of our dogs to go camping for the night and his mom comes over to spend the night and cry with me. His entire family was in complete shock. We have been so close for the last 5 years, we've built so much together, been through so many things. He was my best friend. He was the only person I had for a long time. I'm devastated. He came back this morning and we talked for a few hours, just trying to figure out logistics. What to do about the living situation. I have no family anywhere near me and can't afford rent on my own. We live in a 1-bed, 1-bath. Our dogs are so strongly bonded we just can't bear the thought of separating them. For now he will be sleeping on the futon while I get the room until we can figure things out. I know I'm going to sound stupid and naive, but I love him so much, I've never imagined myself with anyone else. I can confirm this is the only time this has happened. Our relationship has been going through a rough patch for about 2 years now. We both felt it but were too afraid to say it. It just spiraled so badly. We had one of the most open conversations we've ever had in the last 5 years, we spilled it all. And at the end we both concluded we need time apart to become independent, we will stay friends for our animals. His family is still very much so my family, we both understand that and he wants that. Is it stupid of me to think maybe a year from now we could make it work? He is adamant on working on himself, starting therapy and working on his mental health. I have been begging him to go to therapy for years, we both struggle with severe depression and anxiety. He said if I ever decide to give him another chance he wants to go to couples therapy to work on our communication, which is a big struggle we have. I told him it's going to take a long time if I ever decide I can trust him again. He said he understands and will take the time to work on himself independently, and I will be doing the same. We will remain friends for the sake of the family and our dogs but nothing more. I know he's a stupid effing a-hole and I effing hate him. I'm just so in love with him it's hard to not let myself think about maybe a year into the future, we could make it work again.
I'm pretty sure I was always my wife's backup plan. My wife and I have been together for about 20 years, and have been having marital problems for the last few. It reached a boiling point 1.5 years ago and we separated but got back together 6 months later. Part of the condition of getting back together was that we attend therapy every 2 weeks for an entire year. We only ended up doing therapy for about 3 months and my wife said she wasn't getting anything out of it and didn't see the point in going so often. We both disliked the therapist so I agreed and we had noticed that things were getting better so we were working on it on our own. The reasons we went to therapy and why we were having problems were, A, she was not attracted to me at all anymore, physically or emotionally. B, she didn't want me touching her, she felt repelled and repulsed by my touch and didn't want any type of physical affection. C, she wanted to explore her interests with other people, men or women. D, she wanted to be alone, she had this feeling that she would be happier by herself. Things were getting better until a few days ago. I found an old confession she had written out from 18 years ago when a mutual friend kissed her. I know of this event and my wife has always told me that he kissed her and she pushed him off, but this letter details how much she liked the attention and she actually pulled him into another room and they did the deed together. I asked her about it and she said it was so long ago that she didn't really remember, but said we're married and she's been faithful for the entire time of our marriage. I said that it would take me a little bit to get over it, but our marriage wasn't in jeopardy. I just needed some time to adjust. Friday night a guy friend of hers cut contact with her, as he was using my wife as an emotional support crutch and his therapist suggested he stop leaning on her so much. I didn't like how much they chatted but never voiced this. I asked her if there was more to this and she confessed that he's been saying I love you for a while and on Monday made a joke about how he liked her butt. All she said was dude really, you're so silly, and he apologized but I was upset that she didn't shut that down or draw a boundary. He was also asking her to hang out, just the two of them. Yesterday was a special anniversary for us and I wasn't in a good mood. We went for a walk and she kept asking me what was wrong so I told her. I said I'm upset about the cheating situation. I'm upset that she didn't set clear boundaries and shut his advances down sooner and I'm upset that I keep planning for activities for anniversaries for years and she couldn't be bothered to plan anything for today. As we were walking I noticed she was starting to cry and so we sat down on a bench. I asked her what was wrong and she basically told me she still wants to explore things in an intimate context with other people. She likes the attention she gets from other men, she still wants to be alone, and she's still repelled and repulsed by my touch and has been pretending for a year but doesn't want any physical affection from me whatsoever. She says she doesn't want to lose me or the life we've built. We agreed to go back into therapy but after thinking about it last night, I'm not sure if I want to continue. She's lied about so much and I feel like I'm just her safety net. I'm pretty sure I was always my wife's backup plan. Last night I had a conversation with my wife. I started off by saying, I don't know what you thought you were going to accomplish by telling me that you were repelled by my touch. You want to explore your interests with other men and women and want to be alone. I think you thought if you were just being honest it was right and okay, but it showed me just how little respect you have for me. I don't think you realize just how insulting and disrespectful everything you said is. You do not consider my feelings at all, you seek validation from other men and never set any proper boundaries until either I find out or a line has been crossed. I literally cannot remember a time in 20 years where you have said stop, this is inappropriate and I don't think it should go any further. You let a friend tell you he loved you and liked your butt and you weren't even the one to stop communication, he was. His therapist could tell the conversation was unhealthy, I could tell the conversation was unhealthy but you couldn't. You either don't respect me enough to put my feelings ahead of your own need for validation or you simply don't care. I can't fix this, and you don't seem to want to fix this. I have been there for you for 20 years, I have never wavered in my love for you, my affection, my devotion, but you can't say the same. You clearly think you're missing out on something, and think exploring that in the arms of another person will fill that hole inside of you, but it won't. All it will do is leave you completely and entirely alone. Our family will be gone, I will be gone and you will have nothing at all because you think the grass might be greener on the other side. I can't imagine a person who has a loving husband who cares for them, respects them and thinks the world of them, who has 3 beautiful kids, a great support network, good friends and a loving family that thinks if they abandon their entire life for some fleeting new experience they will be fulfilled. You use me, plain and simple. I am a safety net for you, you can spend all the time in the world trying to figure yourself out and you'll have a safe spot to come home to, not a partner, not someone you treat as a husband, but someone you lie to, lead them on and take advantage of. I am not a fallback, I am not a safety net. I am a person who absolutely deserves love, touch, romance and admiration. I deserve respect and reciprocation. I want to be clear that I absolutely think you not telling me about these issues and letting an entire year pass while letting me think things were improving and getting better is lying by omission. I will be attending therapy by myself, to find out why I've been such a doormat, to figure out why I've tolerated such abuse and neglect from the person that was supposed to guard and protect me, who was supposed to share my life forever. I am not at this time asking for a divorce, and provided you are not asking for one, things will need to move forward differently. You will need to attend therapy by yourself. After 6 months of both of us being in therapy we can talk about doing couples therapy. You will stop seeking validation from other men. I do not want to police your conversations but single men should not be people you talk daily with until you go through therapy and can clearly set boundaries and enforce them if they are broken. You have to win me back, you will have to woo me and get me to fall in love with you again. I expect romance, in dates and our daily lives. The fact that I can't be romantic with you because you decided you didn't like it, but also decided that because you don't like romance that I don't deserve it is very selfish. I will not under any circumstances accept an open marriage, I don't ever want to hear of it again. I am not okay with you being intimate with any man or woman other than myself. Asking for monogamy shouldn't be that big of an ask and if that truly is a deal breaker for you, I understand and we can divorce and you can pursue other people. I acknowledge that some of what I'm saying is demanding but I am standing up for myself and what I want. I deserve better and will not settle for just enough any longer. If anything I've said here makes you want to say you are done, we can separate and file for divorce, we'll sell the house and agree upon a 50-50 custody agreement for the kids. I will never use the kids to hurt you and will co-parent with you to the absolute best of my abilities. Despite the harsh tone, I will still reiterate that I love you with all of my heart, and want to spend my entire life with you, watching our children grow up together. But I will not be an afterthought anymore, I won't play second fiddle to an imaginary life you might want to pursue. That was my monologue. One of the things she has always said to me when we have conversations is, I don't know if I'll ever be enough for you. She says this because she doesn't know if she can meet my expectations of what a good loving wife should be. I told her this time that you may think you don't know if you can be enough for me, but I right now know you are not. We talked for a while and she is going to therapy, we are going to work on our relationship, I can't just throw away 20 years without giving it my absolute all. I went to serve in the military and came back to find my girlfriend acting very strange. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 2 years. I was planning to propose within the next 3 months as we have been planning our lives together. Our relationship has been pretty much perfect so far and we live together. But then things changed. I had to go and serve in the military. She dropped me off at the bus station, kissed me, hugged me, cried, said that she loves me and would miss me a lot. While I was in the military, she sent me texts saying how much she misses me and she called me frequently, speaking in a loving manner. After about 4 days though, this stopped. We barely spoke, and only when I called. When I came back a few months later, she came to welcome me. She was very distant. She didn't even seem happy that I was back. Everything felt off about her. We went back to our home and I asked what was wrong and why she was acting this way. We spoke about it for hours and she said that during my absence she realized that she had too much love and wanted to cool off a bit. She said we rushed into things and she wants me to move out, as she was not ready for this kind of life where we live together. She said that she wanted to live a little and not do everything together. She said she wants to go out and have fun on her own too and she wants the space for herself, her own order of things. She is studying medicine and she's in her last year, and she wants to focus more on that too. I said okay, I will move out. But I don't feel like this explains her being so distant. I asked if there was somebody else and she said no. She said that she only wants to live her life like a 24-year-old and not a 30-year-old. I don't keep her from dressing the way she wants or I don't get jealous when she goes out with friends. But I understand that me being there 24/7 can make her feel burnt out. She said she loves me and wants to keep working on the relationship and everything will be better for us this way. But I feel kind of icky about this. I feel like our relationship is dying. Everything changed so fast and she doesn't even say I love you back when I say it. I feel like there's a distance between us all the time. I got a house and I'm moving out tomorrow. I canceled my plans to propose and I'm ready to take it slow like she wants to. I went to serve in the military and came back to find my girlfriend acting very strange. She said I love you unprompted a few evenings ago. I thought this was my go sign and started up a conversation about our relationship. It was a really good talk. She was honest and I could feel it. I thought she cheated, but nothing like that happened. She has made it clear that she didn't cheat in a respectable, clear way and tone. And I am convinced she didn't. I trust this without any doubts now. This being a soft breakup was my other concern. I asked her if she considered breaking up with me and she said the thought came into her mind, but she didn't want to as she loves me and was sure that she would love the future we will have. She didn't want a life without me. I asked if me moving out will eventually lead to a breakup and she said she doesn't think it will, that she thinks it'll only make us stronger. The problem was, as it turns out, that I went from being a happy person to someone who was worrying and depressed. She only realized this was the case when I was gone and I wasn't around to spread negativity anymore. She said that she fell in love with me because I was happy and eccentric. She mentioned that while I was doing things that a good boyfriend would do, she felt I was doing them out of duty and that I used to be very excited about buying her flowers. But lately, when I came home with flowers, I didn't celebrate this small occasion with her. I just gave them to her and went to bed. I admit, I've been very sulky the past few months. I was always worrying about my career, finances, and not being able to accomplish my future goals. I had already realized this while I was serving, and worked through it myself. I think I am in a better place now and she says she saw that I am. Her solution to this was me moving out. My negative energy wouldn't affect her anymore. Because it did, and she already has a lot to worry about. She needs a positive attitude too. Stay strong and I was making that harder. She also realized that we were too codependent and too much in a routine. She thought me moving out would solve this also. I agree. We both were very independent people at the start but then we got lost in love. I was always waiting for her to come home and she was always waiting for me to do anything. This ordeal made life somehow stale. She realized that because I did so much for her, she became heavily dependent on me to solve her problems, making her feel weak and incapable. Because of this reliance, she even had a hard time paying the bill and this got to her. She missed her old self, the one with confidence and power. I realized that I lost myself too. I was a social person who commonly took the initiative to do something with a lot of flash and crash in my life. I lost that, I lost friends and I lost my active lifestyle. She wants to go out with friends and not include me in everything. She wants to not worry about the things she says while with friends because I might be uncomfortable with it. She wants to sometimes take long walks alone. She doesn't want to ask me every time she wants to buy something. She doesn't want to feel guilty when her day-to-day plans don't include me. She admitted that she received flirtatious male attention when doing her internship at school. I wasn't surprised as she is very good-looking and with a very feminine personality to boot. She says she would never cheat on me, and didn't want to respond to anything, never considered anyone else but me in her life, but she liked it. She enjoyed the ego boost and that made her feel guilty. Guilty that she could like such a thing while I was away facing hardship. I said it was normal to like attention from the opposite intimacy, especially when you're lonely. I appreciated that she immediately tried to shut down advances and stayed committed and loyal to me. I don't think this will be a problem and she looked very relieved when I thought it wasn't a big deal. In the end, she said that she missed the old me, the one that was happy and excited about the little things. She said she loves me very much and she is ready to continue the relationship we had before if I could get away from my sulky self finally. She tried to make me happy but I was feeling bad for too long. Me regaining myself meant us regaining the amazing relationship we had. Us shedding away our codependence meant us having a stronger, more stable future where nothing like this happens again. After the talk everything changed for the better. She looked so relieved and I gave her my word that I will try to not fall into this situation again. She hugged and kissed me, and gave me a gift she bought for me while I was away. I took her out to a nice place to drink and celebrate afterwards. I felt happy for the first time in a long time. We had an amazing time and discussed many things. We came back home to have the most intimate and amazing intimacy we had since the beginning of our relationship and stayed up all night cuddling and listening to music. So, things are looking good for us right now.
My boyfriend just admitted to not proposing to me because I'm a fat whale. My partner and I have been together for 5 years. It should be noted that I am extremely overweight, and I was when we met. Over the last couple of years, I gained around 100 pounds due to chronic illness and depression. I have been working to lose weight and even seeking help from doctors for weight loss meds and surgery because my illness makes it nearly impossible to lose weight on my own. This has really affected my mental health and is a big reason for my depression worsening. However, he always made it a point to reassure me that he supports me and loves me either way and loves my body. Well, around 2.5 years ago, I started dropping hints that I wanted to get engaged. By 3 years, I was actually saying that we should get married straight to his face. It ended up becoming a cute thing between us, and I would say it multiple times a day as another way to say, I love you. After the 4-year mark, I started getting a little upset that he hadn't proposed. Every time I asked, he would say things like, he doesn't have the money to buy a proper ring or that he wants to do it the right way. Understandable. Besides, I'm willing to wait for the one I love. Over the past few months, I noticed him starting to get a little agitated when I would say my usual phrase, hey, we should get married. So, I slowly started to stop saying it to avoid having my feelings hurt. Our 5-year anniversary was coming up, and it was painfully obvious that he had no plans to propose anyway. Recently, I hit a wall with my depression. It's gotten to the point that it has been severely affecting my work and home life. I knew I had to do something, so I called out of work for a couple of days when at my worst and spoke with my doctor and therapist to create a plan. On one of those days, he hit me with the question, "How committed are you to actually losing weight?" Which was followed by, "Not that there's anything wrong with the way you look, but I don't want to get married to someone who is going to develop health issues and die like 10 years down the road. The sad truth is you're a whale who could die any minute. I love you, but it's true." It felt like a train hit me. My lungs stiffened. I could feel the tears welling up as I tried my hardest to push them back, but it was too late. I was already sobbing uncontrollably. After about 10 minutes of him consoling me, I was able to calm down enough to say that now wasn't really a good time to talk about this until I get a grip on my depression and we could revisit the topic. I then proceeded to sit outside and cry for what felt like an eternity. I honestly feel devastated. All my fears were confirmed in an instant. How could someone love a mess like me? I feel like I have no right to be upset because he is right. It's not fair to him that the person he loves and wants to spend the rest of his life with is likely to die young unless they lose weight.